Good morning. Today's lesson, our objective is I can use rounding to estimate sums. Now we know for the last 2 days you've been rounding to the nearest tens and you've been rounding to the nearest hundreds. And those two strategies that I taught you are to use a number line to help you round or use place value. I want you to use whatever you feel is comfortable for you, okay? Whatever is easier, honestly. Okay, so read the objective with me. I can use rounding to estimate sums. So again, we know what rounding is. What does this word estimate mean? I know we've heard it before, estimate. Well, I made a little anchor chart, hope you could see it. So an estimate is a number close to an exact amount. Let me say that one more time. An estimate is a number close to an exact amount, right? I know I estimate. I make estimates all the time, especially when I'm grocery shopping. And definitely I need to do better to estimate when I am shopping for clothes, because I know sometimes I have a budget, so I need, I make sure I don't go over. So when I'm shopping, it's good to kind of estimate as I'm shopping to make sure I'm not going over my budget. Anyway, so you can estimate to find about how many or about how much. Here's an example. Here's a word problem. Xavion bought a video game for $52 and a pair of sneakers for $76. Wow, Xavion, you have a lot of money, huh? I bet you have good taste. About how much money did Xavion spend for the video game and sneakers? So this word problem, we don't want to get the exact answer. We want an estimate. We want a number that is close to the exact amount, all right? So again, we want to know about, I want to box this because this word is so important. If you guys see the word about in word problems, you are estimating, all right? You don't want to get the exact answer. Now, how do we estimate? We are going to round. We are rounding today in order to estimate, and I'm going to show some problems. Now, again, so on this word problem, we want to find the total amount. So the operation that we're going to use is addition. Now let me quickly go back to our objective. Our objective says I can use rounding. That's our strategy today, to be able to estimate, to get that answer that is close to the exact answer. And we're going to estimate sums. Well, we know a sum in math is the answer to an addition problem, okay? I'm going to draw an arrow and write addition. So today, the operation that we are using is only adding. We're using addition. All right, so let me set this up. Now, so we know Xavion bought a video game for $52. So you first want to, when you're doing word problems, you want to write the problem, the original problem. So I know I'm going to add his video game, which costs $52, plus a pair of sneakers, okay? So if we were to get the exact answer to let us know how much money Xavion spent on that video game and his sneakers, we would just add. Okay, but today we're not getting the exact answer again. We are estimating. We want to get the closest answer to the original total. Okay, and we're going to do that by rounding. Now, since the greatest place value is the tens, we are going to round to the nearest tens. Obviously, we can't round to the nearest hundreds on this problem because the greatest place value is tens. 5 tens. 76 tens. Okay, so I like to line it up like this, vertically up and down. Now, I'm going to use place value on this one to round. All right, so 52, I'm going to rewrite it. 52, rounding to the nearest tens. I'm going to underline the rounding digit, the tens place. I'm going to go next door to the right to the ones place. Remember, the ones place determines if we round up to 50 or round down to 60. All right, and remember, 4 or less, let it rest. Leave it alone, okay? You would leave the tens place alone, okay? So numbers 1, 2, 3, or 4, the rounding digit stays the same. So 5, 10 stays the same. However, since we're rounding that digit to the right, the ones place turns into a 0. Okay? So 52 rounds down to 50. Let's do the same thing for 76. Let me just do it here. Okay. Rounding to the nearest tens, underline the tens place. I circle the ones place because that digit determines if we round up or down. We know 5 or greater, add 1 more. The tens place increases by 1, okay? So 6 is definitely greater than, is 5 or greater. So the tens place increases by 1. So it turns into 8 tens. And remember, all the digits to the right turn into a 0. So 76 rounds to 80. Now that we rounded, now we can go back and add to get our sum, okay? So now I'm going to rewrite it, 50 plus 80. All right, 50 plus 80. 0 plus 0, ones. Remember, we start in the ones when we're adding is 0. 8 plus 5, I like to use touch points, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Just bring that down, okay? So, back to the word problem. About how much money did Xavion spend for the video game and sneakers? He spent about $130. Remember, 130 is not the exact answer. It is an estimate, all right? And that is our goal today. We're not adding numbers to get the exact answer. We are estimating. And how are we estimating? We are rounding. We're rounding to the nearest tens or hundreds, okay? All right, I'm going to do another one. Let's do 18 plus 44. All right, 18 plus 44 out to the side. I'm going to just write it again because this is the original problem. 18, let's round to the nearest tens. Don't you agree? Yeah. Underline the rounding digit. Go next door to the ones place. Oh, we have an 8. We have a 5 or greater. So this rounding digit increases by 1. And the ones place turns into a 0. Do you see what I just did? I know. I made a mistake. It's the tens place is supposed to increase by 1, so it turns into a 2 tens, 20. When I looked back at that, I'm like, 18 does not round down to 10. So see, we all make mistakes. It's all about being okay with it and just redoing it. All right, so I just rounded 18 to the nearest tens. Let me do 44. 44 rounded to the nearest tens. Underline the tens place because that is the rounding digit. Circle my ones place and I ask myself, okay, 4, do I need to round up or down? Well, 4 or less, let it rest. So we're just going to leave the 4 tens alone, but we do have to turn the ones place into a 0. Okay, so now I can go back and add 20 plus 40, 60. Okay, let me show you a problem in the hundreds place. Okay, let's do some practicing for hundreds. Okay. All right. So, boys and girls, now look, the greatest place value is in the hundreds. So You can round, technically, you can round to the nearest tens, but I think it's easier just to go ahead and round to the nearest hundred since that's the greatest place value. So let's do that. Again, we are rounding to estimate sums, right? We're adding. A sum is the answer to an addition problem. And we're estimating by rounding because we want to get the closest answer to the exact answer. All right, here we go. Let me see. Let me rewrite it. 433.
Library classes will not meet
Excuse
today.
me, guys.
Please spread the word. Library classes will not meet.
All right, let me underline. Now it's the rounding digit is in the hundreds place, so that's why I underline the 4. Now I go right next door. Go right next door to the tens. You don't go all the way to the ones. That's only if you're rounding to the nearest tens, okay? All right, 3, 4. It's 3's 4 or less. We're going to let the hundreds place rest. Leave it alone, okay? But the tens place and the ones place have to turn into zeros, okay? So 433 rounds down to 400. Let's do 479. Again, underline the rounding digit, which is 400s. Go circle the tens place. We have a 7. I know that 7 is 5 or greater, 5 or more. So we're going to increase. The hundreds place increases by 1. So the 400 turns into a 500. And tens in ones place turns into a 0, okay? So 479 rounds up to 500. Now let's just go ahead and add 400 plus 500. And I know many of you, all of you maybe, can probably add 400 plus 500 in your head. But I want to go ahead and line it up for you. 0 plus 0 is 0 ones. 0 tens plus 0 tens is 0. 4 plus 500s is 900s. So our estimate is 900. Okay? All right, one more. I'm going to show you one more, and then I think y'all are going to be ready to go. I know it. All right, let's do... All right, let's round to the nearest hundreds. We're rounding to estimate. So 519. All right, underline the rounding digit, which is in the hundreds place. Circle the tens place. I have a 1. 4 or less. Let it rest. Digits 1, 2, 3, and 4. You leave that rounding digit alone. So 5 stays the same, but the tens place and the ones place turns into a 0. Okay? And let's do 246. Underline the rounding digit in the hundreds place. Go right next door to the tens place. All right, we have a 4. 4 or less, let it rest. Leave it alone. So 2 hundreds stays the same. Tens place turns into a 0. Ones place turns into a 0. Now let's go back and add so we can get our sum. Okay? 500 plus 200, 700. So 700 is our estimated sum. Okay? Before I let you go, I was thinking last night, and you know, I know sometimes y'all are thinking, why is this important to me? We use estimating all the time. We use it with time, like telling time, like, oh, what time are you going to be at my house? Well, I'm not sure because I have to wait on my mom to get off work. So hopefully I'll be over there about 7:30. So when you say about 7:30, you can be there before 7:30 maybe. It might be a little bit after 7:30, so we estimate that way. And again, we estimate, I feel like with food. I don't know about y'all. Let's say... Seriously, let's say you have $8. You have $8 left in your pocket. You're at the store and you want to buy bags of candy, right? Then the bags of candy cost $1.79. Well, instead of, you know, you want to try to see how many bags of candy you can buy, but you want to estimate, right? Well, if you have if you have $8 and each bag of candy is $1.79, you can round $1.79 up to $2. So then in your head you can be like, okay, let's see how many bags of candy I can get. I have $8 and a bag of candy is about $2. So we can skip count. 2, 4, 6, 8. You can buy 4 bags of candy. So estimating is so important. Hope you have a great day. Do your best.